Welcome back to the Packy Run podcast, folks. Sheilas and blokes. Did I really just forget my name?
I think so. I think you just forgot that.
That was pitiful.
That's insane.
That was pitiful. I'm AJ Lagambina.
And I am Dan Mayotte.
And, yeah, we're back. We're doing the thing.
Yeah. This one took a little bit because, busyness and work and like that kind of stuff. But we're recording on a weird day, which is Sunday. Never record on this day.
It's Sunday, babe. We telegraphed this in the last episode when we were making jokes about Sunday.
Yeah, about my emo revival night.
It's in the works.
Yes.
We gotta start planning this. An emo revival night.
Yes.
Break up with your girlfriend, get free shots. We've covered it.
Tequila.
You guys know the deal. Well, tequila only. That reminds me of my 21st birthday and the 21st birthday of Joshua Lutz. Both of those celebrations involved well tequila.
Oh, that's true. Dude,
Horrific.
I don't know about you, but this has been a weird sort of week. At least for me.
Bro, I completely agree. The astrologists in our listenership would tell us it's because it was like a full moon and stuff, but I'm not entirely sure I buy into that. I think it's been a very weird week.
Yeah, I mean, like working in customer service, I had a lot of moments of people just being straight up ruthless and mean, and it wasn't even just me. It was like a couple other people that were in my life that like were in customer service commenting on how brutal people are being.
Yeah, it's been I haven't experienced a lot of that firsthand in any of the like customer interactions that I've had, but everybody I know has been going through it.
Yeah, and I mean Jeffrey Bezos going to space.
Okay. I was just talking about this a little bit earlier today. I'm not the biggest Bo Burnham fan. Like, I respect him as a comedian. I think a lot of the stuff that he does is clever, but like, he doesn't really make me laugh all that much. I just kind of sit back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. I see what you did
right, there. Yeah.
The Jeffrey Bezos song, I can't get it out of my head.
It slaps. It kind of slaps.
It's never not in my head. It's so weird.
But that makes him going to space made me so mad. I literally spent like 20 minutes trying to cancel my Amazon Prime account because I don't want to give this man any more money.
I probably should have done that, but instead I ordered new bed sheets and a couple of other essentials, beard oil and stuff.
I mean, you need it.
It's true, but yeah, I'm a bad ally.
Have you before we get into our regular programming, there's one more thing that's just on my mind. And especially because we both work in music. Have you been seeing the thing on Twitter of the kid who snuck into Kanye West's listening party?
So I saw it. I haven't, I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that that's been a polarizing topic this week.
So the story goes, and I don't know the kid's name, and I don't want to give him the time of day. I hope he gets blacklisted from every show in the future. But someone online posted their credentials, which if you ever have credentials to anything, never post them, because this kid literally photoshopped it and snuck in and was able to snap like pictures of Kanye and like get on stage and everything.
Yeah, that's just a bad look.
That's so bad.
I don't know. I'm like, I have so little interest in Kanye, to be honest, but there's something to be said for a guy that can he can get people to pay whatever it was, like $50 a ticket to go sit in a stadium while he sits in the middle of the stadium and he just plays what are basically demos because apparently the album's not done.
That's incredible.
Like, it's insanity.
I mean, that's incredible marketing.
That's like, who else in the world could get people to watch him just like sit around and like basically dance around in the center of a stadium while he plays demo music? That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
But like, man, I mean, I don't care about that so much. Like, Kanye can do whatever he wants, but like, I'm more angry at that kid sneaking into an event that was very exclusive, very hard to get into. And there are industry people that work very hard for what they do just for this one kid to kind of mess it all up.
Yeah.
And
that's super.
And encourage other people to try to do it too, on top of that. Like, that's so messed up.
Yeah. Not a fan. Screw that kid.
Yes. So with that being said, we're going to get into what we're drinking this evening. We're going to talk a little bit of sports news, and then we actually have an album that we are actually going to talk about today.
Yeah. Another one celebrating its 10-year anniversary. It's insane.
Yes. We're going to be doing a lot of those this year.
It is a good year for it. So yeah, that was a good one.
Oh yeah.
I unfortunately don't really have anything to drink in the house right now besides water. So I'm drinking water.
I mean, respectable. You need to stay hydrated.
I'm hydrating myself. I'm keeping myself cool and refreshed with that filtered Nashville tap water.
Yeah.
Nashville tap water for the best of times.
Is it good?
Oh, Nashville tap water is trash. That's why, like, you have to filter it. But I mean, once it goes through the Brita, it just kind of tastes like water. It's a little metallic-y, but whatever.
Yeah. Drinking against it, and I have some water on tap. You know, standard stuff.
The classics,
Yeah.
as Josh would say, El Clasico.
Root beer, Baba Booey.
Can I get a number 3 with a root beer?
Booey.
Baba Booey. It's the stupidest thing we've ever done. I still have those videos too. I was looking through my camera roll the other day.
Didn't even know where Baba Booey came from until like recently.
I don't think I know.
Okay, so Justine's dad was telling me the story of you know the radio announcer Dick Vitale? He does like college basketball.
Yeah, I've heard the name.
So he was telling me a story about how like someone called into Dick Vitale's radio show. It was like, "Oh, hey Dick, have you heard of this guy named Sam Abui? Every time he slam dunks the ball, he yells Baba Booey, Baba Booey." And he's like, "Yeah, I heard of him. He's great. Like, he's a really good player. Yeah." And then like it cuts to like commercial break, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I'm a fan of David Stern just as much as the next guy, but come on, we gotta keep it classy, guys. Come on, guys." Like,
Baba Booey.
I think that's hilarious.
I think can I get a Sprite? That's the one that did it for me that night. That was, oh god. For those that don't know, we spent an inordinate amount of time in college walking through the McDonald's drive-thru.
Yes.
And hilarity ensued.
Oh yes. But let's get into some football news.
Yeah, moving right along.
So the NFL announced that all coaches and executives, trainers, and basically all the people hired by the team, except for the players themselves, have to be 100% vaccinated. That has prompted some NFL coaches to be fired because of that, including one of the Patriots, the offensive line coach. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he has been let go because of not wanting to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
Also, the NFL is planning to fine and potentially you will forfeit games if there are major COVID violations. Which some players are like, "No, I'm not getting vaccinated. Like, F that."
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even exclusive to the NFL. I mean, at my job, they have now started requiring us to wear masks, and you know, there seems to be cases popping up all over the country, and there's a little bit of a panic going on, and it's just
right, especially around here with like Provincetown. That's been a huge thing.
So it's not quite as canceled as we thought it was, but hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm fighting apathy when it comes to COVID.
For sure.
Like, just get vaccinated.
Yeah, which there's actually some weird news happening, and this might happen next week. Did you hear about Aaron Rodgers maybe retiring?
Yeah, so they just lost their, or they're not losing, but isn't the Packers like number one receiver?
Yeah, Devontae Adams. They like stopped their contract negotiations because they lowballed him so badly.
Yeah.
So there's like been rumors about Aaron Rodgers just flat out retiring because he's just that fed up with the Green Bay Packers.
I mean, I don't think it would be a permanent retirement, though. I think that would end up being more of a Gronkowski kind of deal where it seems like everybody in the Packers camp and with Aaron, everybody's just been kind of sitting on their hands about that whole situation all year. And yeah, now it's just kind of come to a head, and clearly Aaron wants out. Green Bay doesn't want to deal with any of that.
Like I heard some people comparing it to the Chicago Bulls of the late 90s, like The Last Dance, when the Chicago Bulls prematurely just rebuilt. They broke up the whole team and they were like, you know what? We won plenty of championships. Let's just rebuild. And that's kind of been the story of when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round last year.
I mean, Love is such like an unknown quantity, though.
He is, and like Aaron Rodgers is, what is he, 38 at this point?
Yeah, is he that old?
Yeah, he's getting up there. Like he's getting older. I mean, they needed a succession plan for him.
Exactly. I don't know. The whole thing is kind of. I don't even part of it is just the fact that it's Green Bay. Like I'm a Patriots fan,
right?
Like let them implode. But it is kind of interesting to see how like this guy who is kind of very similar to. I mean, he's an NFL quarterback, so obviously he's a household name. But he's similar. I get the impression that he's a lot closer to like a Tom Brady kind of deal, where like everybody knows and has an opinion about Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. I think he's more talented than Brady. Like
I think he's definitely more physically.
Yeah, physically.
He's absolutely more athletic than Brady.
Right. Brady is the most successful quarterback of all time. No debate there.
He's the most successful, and so much of that just comes down to like his just knowledge.
Yeah.
I forget what the stat was, but it was some insane stat from the 2018 season.
Mm-hmm.
No, was it? Yeah, was it 18? When did we play the Super Bowl against the Rams?
Yeah, it was like 2019, I want to say.
Yeah, that season there was some ridiculous stat about how many audibles Brady called compared to every other team, like every other quarterback.
Yeah,
he basically like.
He just knows the playbook.
He would just rewrite. Yeah, and he would basically rewrite it on the fly.
Yeah. Did you hear about Brady and him being the Subway spokesperson, but he refused to touch the Subway food and has never actually eaten Subway before in his life?
That doesn't surprise me.
That's hilarious.
I also think that's kind of funny of Subway to be like, so last year we had Bill Belichick. This year, let's get Tom Brady.
Who doesn't eat Subway and won't even touch the food.
Let's keep the divorce narrative alive.
Yeah.
Oh God, absolutely ridiculous.
I love it. I think it's great.
It is crazy.
Deshaun Watson is reporting it to camp because if he doesn't show up, the Texans are gonna fine him $50,000 a day. So he's going.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's going to show up, which is interesting because he doesn't want to be there either.
He doesn't want to be there. I have to imagine that the Texans don't actually want him there, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it is what it is. You have anything else to add from NFL news?
Not really. Training camps are starting up, so I'm sure that we'll have some hot takes about Cam and Mac and how they're looking once people start reporting on it.
Yeah, for sure. The Kraken did their expansion draft.
Yeah, the expansion draft where there was a meme that I shared in my friend Sean's Discord, which side note, because I know he's a regular listener, friend of the pod, if you will. Sean is getting married and asked me to be a groomsman.
Oh.
Which is pretty sick.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to him for that. But anyway, yeah, the Kraken did their expansion draft, and I shared a meme in Sean's Discord server of like the Kraken that we thought we were gonna get, and it's a picture of Gyarados from Pokemon.
Oh.
And then the next photo was the Kraken we actually got, and it was Magikarp just like flopping around on the floor.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they I mean of all the players that were kind of on the list that they could have taken from the Bruins, Jeremy Lauzon, really?
I mean, hey, an expansion team is not supposed to be good the first couple of years. Las Vegas Knights.
unless they're Vegas.
Like, the Vegas Knights are an anomaly. That never happens. Whether it's in football, like basketball, or any other sport, that never happens. So
exactly. Yeah, it was a little bit weird, and then the rest of the NHL draft already happened too, correct?
I'm not sure if it did or not.
I'm pretty sure it did. We got Boston. I think Boston was on their Instagram talking about they got like 6 or 7 players.
I think I saw. Yeah, I did see that.
They're all going to be headed down to Pawtucket for a little bit.
It's Providence.
Probably. Providence. Pawtucket was, it used to be the Paw Sox.
Yeah, the Paw Sox.
Yeah, Providence Bruins.
Yeah, now it's the Woo Sox.
The Woo Sox.
Take it for what you will.
Yeah, I don't know why it's funny to me.
I mean, it's not as bad as the Colorado Rockies have a farm team in Hartford, and they're called the Yard Goats.
The Yard Goats.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Yardbirds. 60s reference.
Yes.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's bad. We're going to move right past
Wasn't
it.
Eric Clapton in that band?
Yes.
Dude, did you hear about him saying, like, I'm not playing any venue that's, like, not, that's making people be vaxxed or whatever? Like, super old boomer energy.
Yep. Thanks for Layla, but keep your mouth shut, Eric.
Yeah.
Bad.
Bad look.
Yep. Not good. Not good.
All right.
So the only other thing that I have about the whole Kraken thing, those jerseys are sick. The black and teal.
I like
that is a great
I
look.
like their branding a lot. It's really cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that. So that's gonna be interesting. We play them. Boston plays them in October, and I think Boston is coming down here to play the Predators on December 2nd. So I got to start talking to my friend Shelby about whether or not she's doing season tickets again this year, because your boy needs to go see a hockey game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Hockey games are fun to watch.
Real bad. We've talked about it. It's one of the best live sports to go and see.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving right along, unless we have anything else sports related.
Nah.
All right, we're going to talk about England Keep My Bones by Frank Turner.
Mr. Frank Turner.
Oh, Frank Turner.
This is one of your favorites.
This is one of my favorite albums. Actually, this is definitively my favorite Frank Turner album. But I will say I don't think this is his best album.
Yeah, what's the one with the tan album art?
Tape Deck Heart.
Tape Deck Heart. So I'm not the biggest Frank Turner fan. I'm like, every one of his albums has like 4 or 5 songs that I really, really love. And then the rest of it is just kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Like it's just good, but it's not quite at that level, maybe.
Yeah, and I've never been like that big on folk punk, you know?
Let me tell you, in high school, I had a little bit of a folk punk phase between Frank Turner and AJJ, like...
Yeah.
Johnny Hobo.
Yep.
Like Wingnut, Dishwasher Union. What's the other one? There was a couple other ones for sure, but folk punk was definitely a little bit of part of my my youth there.
Yeah, I was always like just outside of those circles. It never resonated with me, and I think part of that was because I was so caught up in like being a hardcore kid and that being my identity, that at that time, like, acoustic guitars, I was just kind of sitting back and being like, yeah, I don't know. I prefer the chugs.
I get that. Like, I totally...
Do you even, gent bro?
I don't. I've never done that.
I was never that technical. I never Periphery and Meshuggah and stuff like that wasn't really my jam.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. Yeah, Frank Turner, like, I respect him a lot. I would love to go see him live. But this is one of those albums where it's like, I like it and I appreciate a lot of it, but it's like there's only a few songs on it where it's really like, oh, this scratches an itch, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I will say not all of them have the same itch, but like going through song by song, and we'll go through it, like we'll go through song by song, but going through song by song and taking a really deep listen to those songs, there's a lot of depth to them.
Oh yeah, lyrically I think he is awesome.
Right, and I mean he's a smart dude. And really well spoken, really smart. And I think he's probably one of the most important people in DIY culture.
And also supremely British.
Yes, and this is an album that's very British.
Yes.
Definitively.
You can tell by I don't know, the name.
Right. And I mean, one of the interviews that he did, I could still write songs pretending to be an underdog kid, but that's just not true anymore. And he just was like, I'm going to write an album about how I love being from England.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come off as nationalistic, which that's a very easy thing to do, and that there's a lot of gray area with that. This doesn't come off as that. It's like, look, I'm from here. These are the things I like about it. But like, yeah.
It's like this is like the best case scenario for maybe like not the genre of music, but like the scene of music for like country. So like if you think about how like a lot of modern country is like blindly nationalistic.
Yeah.
That's like kind of the worst case scenario. This is kind of the best case scenario for something like that, like taking pride in where you're from and being like loud about it, but without it's not being like forced down your throat. It's Frank Turner is not sitting here and being like, well, you know, God save the Queen and fuck you if you disagree. It's like it's just very much in the vein of like a lot of other, you know, punk and punk adjacent bands. It's very much like, let's talk about my hometown because like this is what I know. That Springsteen-ish kind of thing comes across.
He's like a mix between Bruce Springsteen and there's another British artist that's kind of in the same vein, Billy Bragg, who's like older, more into like the Springsteen era. Not as well known as Springsteen, obviously, but like he's part of that same sort of like group.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. So that covers a little bit about what Frank Turner's all about. You want to start getting into a track by track?
Just one more thing. This is also the first album he was like definitively, this is my backing band, the Sleeping Souls, and it's a rock album. It's kind of a different take from what he had like beforehand. His record before was not poetry. Yeah, Poetry of the Deed, which was definitely more of a folk punk album. This is more of a rock album.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, this band is tight too. Like watching live videos and stuff of them performing. They are very good at what they do.
Yeah, they're all very talented. Let's get in the meat and potatoes of it all.
Let us.
So starting off with Eulogy, which is funny because usually that's something that you do like not a wedding, like a funeral, like to celebrate someone's life.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting choice to put it at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's the cornet solo that's at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Is like, it's very kind of funeral-ish, which is an interesting way to open the album.
With the first line being, not everyone grows up to be an astronaut, not everyone was born to be a king, not everyone can be Freddie Mercury, which I think that's like a really good, strong way to start an album.
Yeah, it's all about kind of setting the tone, and it's got that very like the punk, even though it doesn't really sound very punky, like that punk kind of ethos is still right there, like front and center. You kind of get an idea of what you're going to be getting into, at least thematically, on this album.
Right. And I mean, even in the next stanza, I haven't always been a perfect person, and I haven't always done what Mama dreamed. So the background on that is like, Frank Turner was a banker's son, and his family wanted him to continue to be in that business. And they didn't really like the fact that he was in punk rock and doing all these, like, just touring around the world doing that thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine being like in finance. That's, oh man, it's so weird. It's so weird to have somebody that like, because he was like, I know he was expected to, but did he actually like go to school? Did he study any of that? Was that like?
I think he studied like economics and like history. So like,
yeah.
If you listen to it, we'll go with his lyrics. He mentions a lot of references to history.
Yeah.
And I mean, he puts a lot of what he has read from like history books into his songs, which is like so interesting and cool to me.
Yeah, again, that storytelling aspect is that every time bands do that, I just enjoy it so much.
Yeah. And I mean, it kind of ends with like, at least like when I die, like I'll say like, at least I fucking tried.
Yeah.
With the final two lines being like, that's the only eulogy I need. It's like,
Yeah.
like, you know what? You can't really tell me what to do. Like, at least I'm trying to do what I want to do and be happy with whatever I'm doing.
That's what we call self-actualization, kids.
Yes.
And that leads into Peggy Sang the Blues, which is one of my favorite tracks on this album.
Yeah, it's one of the clear hits of this record for sure.
Oh yeah. It's a story about Frank's grandmother, I believe.
Yes, it is. I think the first time I saw him live, he was like telling a story about it, like on stage before he played it, and then he wanted fan participation. So like you would put your hands in a cup, and when it got to the harmonica part, you would go like you would pretend to like play the harmonica. It was fun.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's heartwarming, I believe is the word. The kind of story that goes on here about his grandmother just kind of comes to him in a dream, and he basically parties with his grandma.
Yeah. I mean, he has said like, yeah, my grandmother would like teach me how to play cards, and we drink whiskey at like the age of 10.
That's ridiculous.
Which is so funny.
Yeah, it's I love the she said we'll play poker and we'll play for keeps. I've only played angels lately and they never let me cheat. That's a great line.
The first single was I Still Believe, which is the next song on this record. Yeah, it was the second one. It's fun, it's upbeat. It's not dark at all. It's kind of just like it's adorable, and I think there are easy ways. There are total cop-outs for relationships that you could sing about, but he kind of like plays along with like the dream aspect of it, kind of like how in Let It Be, like Paul McCartney saying like Mother Mary came to me in the dream.
Yeah. Like
he kind of plays off with that. I don't know how much Frank Turner is influenced by the Beatles.
I mean, if he spends so much time talking, he spends the album like kind of reminiscing about growing up in England. I have to imagine that he's got some sort of love for his hometown heroes.
Yeah, he has to.
And honestly, it's been said a million times, but how can you not like the Beatles? There's something there for everybody.
That is true.
So anyway, I Still Believe is the next one?
Yes, it is. And it starts with like, hear ye, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Very. So one of the things that I really appreciate about this album as a whole, and it's on full display on this song, there's a lot of English artists that you don't necessarily know are English until, you read an interview or you listen to them talk or something like that. Like the first thing that comes to mind is the 1975, where so much of their music, their vocalist Matty doesn't sound all that English. He's changed that lately, but like especially on some of the earlier stuff, like he sounds very American. That's never an issue with Frank Turner.
I didn't even know that the 1975 were from Britain, or at least I forgot about that like aspect of them.
They're from Manchester, which is not a Manchester accent, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah, Frank Turner never sounds like he's trying to do that like bluesy kind of American thing that so many. I mean, it doesn't take a lot. Look at the Beatles. There's so much of that where they don't sound particularly English either. So yeah, to start off a song with "Hear ye, friends and Romans, countrymen, punks and skins and journeymen." Like
which like I'm like reading one of the Genius Anecdotes, and one time like Frank said in an interview, I've always think the first line of the song is most important. The idea of a town crier was kind of fun. So you have hear ye.
It's yeah.
He gets it. He understands it. Yeah. Like the first line needs to grab you in some sort of way, and like that kind of like pulls you in. It's like, oh, what do you got to say?
Man.
And it's repeated throughout the song.
Yeah.
Throughout every single verse, there is hear ye.
I love the anybody could take this stage and make miracles for minimum wage. These folk songs for the modern age will hold us in their arms. Yeah, he's got such a great like lyrical talent.
I love the line that's like, yeah, in Jerry Lee and Johnny and all the greats, in the bridge, like referencing Jerry Lee, who famous for Great Balls of Fire. And I mean, Johnny could be a reference to anyone.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Cash, it could be Johnny Cash. I don't know, anyone.
Johnny Ramone.
Yeah.
Like this is a good song overall. I think this one hits for me more now that I actually have the lyrics up. I like he played this song at the Olympics? That's insane.
Yeah, he did.
That I didn't know. But I like the idea of like rock music replacing religion for him. That's like,
which is funny because there's like a lot of religious and like Catholicism references in this album.
Yeah, and he talked in interviews, I guess, about he referenced a couple of songs and a couple of artists and how he was sitting there and he was like, I don't think I've seen like a definitively like agnostic approach to music the way that there can sometimes be like a very like Catholic or a very Christian approach to music. So, and you can't really have, what's the word, agnosticism, I guess.
Or like atheism.
Yeah, atheism, like you can't really have that without the concept of religion in general. So you get those comparisons and those references for context, I guess.
But as far as a first single goes, I think this is a fantastic. It checks a lot of the boxes off. It kind of pulls you into this album. It makes you want to listen.
Yeah, it's not so like Eulogy lyrically kind of gives you an idea of where you're going, and obviously this is a very story driven kind of album. But yeah, I think I Still Believe is actually the better overall opener for that reason. This is kind of the best example of sonically where you're going to be going. I'm still kind of blown that he performed that at the Olympics. That's a massive stage for a punk kid.
Yeah, I mean, like they were in England.
Yeah, that's
back in like that time period.
Wow. Yeah, that's mind-blowing. Now the next song touches on one of my favorite things that people do in music, which is using nature as a metaphor for, well, basically anything. In this case, I guess mostly like mortality.
Yeah. Like our history runs down our rivers, down the rivers to the sea, reminds us of things that matter, home and heart and history.
Yeah, the idea of, and then a reference to, sins being washed away and things like that. Like water should be referenced in music more. Not that it isn't already, but just songs about rivers and oceans and things never seem to get old.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of, again with the storytelling bent, like it's kind of a tour of England in a song.
Right, because I would say a lot of Frank Turner's listeners are not English. A lot of them are American, like me. I don't know anything about England. I didn't know that there were like a bunch of rivers running through the country.
Yeah.
Like I think of England as just that island. Like that's it. It's kind of small.
Yeah, and it kind of takes you, the whole idea of the song is that it's taking you like through the river, and then eventually in that last verse, that last like outro part, it's placing your trust into the sea. It kept us safe for centuries, like referencing the fact that you're on the island. It's that's a really awesome plot device. I should have, when I was listening to the album earlier, I should have sat there with the lyrics in front of me as well. That's the interesting part about what's happening right now, is that I have genius.com up and I'm reading through and I'm like, oh no, there's so much of this that I missed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are referenced in his music it's so interesting and it's smart. Like I think with a lot of the other songs in his past records, it was, to give perspective, he put out Sleep for the Week in 2007, Love and Irie in 2008, Poetry for the Deed in 2009, and then this came out in 2011. So after 3 albums, touring nonstop, writing nonstop, he finally, I'm sure there was a tour or two in between those 2 years, but he kind of took his time. It was like, you know what, I'm gonna like be concise and make sure like I can do this narrative. Like why do I love like England?
Yeah.
Why am I going to write this album? I really like the fact that history runs through the rivers and how like our land really tells the history of what we do.
And
That's just yeah.
and how do you fit the word estuaries into a song? That's so cool. That's
I don't even know what that means.
where the water kind of like gathers, I guess. How am I this dumb? How do I not know what an estuary is? Estuary.
We're both really dumb, guys.
The tidal mouth of a large river, where the tide meets the stream. Oh, okay. So where the river meets the sea, basically. Oh man, how are you going to do this to us, Frank? Oh man.
And I mean the chorus says, "I trace these rivers from the cities to the sea to remind me of what I already know. I trace the shorelines through 1,000 estuaries to remind me an island is my home, an island is my home."
Yeah. I like this song more now that I've read the lyrics, because I was like, Eulogy was cool, Peggy Sang the Blues is great, I Still Believe is great, and then like during my listen I fell off a little bit here, and it was at first it was just kind of like, yeah, it's a Frank Turner song.
Yeah, and I mean the composition of the music, it's definitely more of the folk realm.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not so much the rock ballads that we just heard. It's more the folk.
Yeah, and it's got that like
And
bluesy almost, that which I guess is just folk, but yeah, I like it.
it has like
I like it a lot more now that I've seen those lyrics.
it has a little bit of that, and a little bit of that Irish folk into it.
Yeah, you get a lot of and this might just be the fact that we're stupid Americans, but you do, like, with the green of the album art and everything else, you get a lot of kind of Irishy feels on this album.
Yeah, and I mean like Ireland and England are definitively different places.
Yeah.
They will tell you that. They will make sure that you know that. Anyways, let's move on to I Am Disappeared.
So this might have been the first song I ever heard by Frank Turner.
Really?
I think so. I think you played this our freshman year at some point.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew
So the story.
I knew this one immediately.
Oh yeah. So the story goes about this song. It kind of goes back to Frank Turner's dreams, and it talks about a recurring character named Amy, who we can assume is like an ex-girlfriend of his.
Yeah, so you get very Springsteen-ish kind of storytelling about, mundane everyday kind of goings on, and it's kind of a cliche at this point. The talking about the the girl that works in a bar. Lots of references to pirate ships, though.
Yeah.
That one I don't entirely get.
Also, this is the first one that we hear the term "sleeping soul."
Yep.
Which is like a reference towards his backing band.
In the sleeping soul of the country.
Which is kind of a funny line.
And more references to rivers. The rivers of the tarmac are like arteries across the country.
And then a lot of references to Bob Dylan as well in this, with like, I keep having dreams of pioneers, pirate ships, and Bob Dylan.
And apparently he did actually have a Bob Dylan dream.
Yeah.
which inspired the song. So
which is funny.
Is there somebody that can psychoanalyze having dreams about Bob Dylan? Somebody reach out to the podcast and let us know what that means.
True. It has an interesting structure to it, because you have the intro, like a verse, then you have a verse, bridge, and like an outro. So no real chorus in this.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count the bridge as a chorus.
Yeah, it's funny that they call it a bridge when it's basically, that is basically the chorus, but...
Right. And the bridge goes like, and on the worst days when it feels like life weighs 10,000 tons, she's got a cowboy boots and car keys on the bedstand, so she can always run. She could get up, shower in a half an hour, and she'll be gone.
And then
So kind of saying like, oh, like, she's always on the run. This person that I love is just always not going to be there for me in the end, maybe.
And then he turns it around on himself on that second bridge with basically the same thing, but in the first person.
Right.
And yeah, that's some pretty intelligent songwriting right there, and also real sad.
It's really sad, and it's an interesting way to look at like a breakup song.
Yeah.
It's not because we've looked at breakup songs before in the past, and this is we just can't be there for each other. Like, and it sucks.
Yeah.
We want to, but like we're living two different lives, and we just have to go our separate ways, I guess.
Yeah, this song is like a short novel too. There's so many lyrics. Yeah,
He busts it out though.
He does a great job with the storytelling.
And I'll say this, like, usually when there's a lot of lyrics, they take a while to get to the point, but this is it's not a roundabout way of saying it. It's kind of like, usually they say short and sweet is always better.
Yeah.
This is fine to me.
It doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, it doesn't.
It does, however, lead into what I thought was the funniest song, actually, weirdly enough, on this album.
Which I didn't know it was an old folk song until you pointed it out.
Exactly.
Like, I was playing this album one day for AJ, and you were just like, oh wait, I know this song.
Yeah.
I was like,
In the Dark of the New Forest. Yeah, we used to sing this song at Boy Scout camp. It's oh man, I could bore everybody regaling them tales of Camp Squanto. But if you know, you know. It used to be an inside joke with like a fairly large number of people in the Dark of the New Forest. Oh man, that's so funny. Yeah, so it's an old English folk song, and it's in the tradition of old English folk songs. Again, the storytelling. We got thunder coming in. Didn't know that was on the docket.
ooh.
Stories about King William and stealing the land of Englishmen. Oh, your firstborn son, warm blood will run upon the English earth. This is, just looking at the lyrics is awesome. I really liked the song to begin with, and Frank's interpretation of it I'm not mad at it. And apparently the New Forest is an actual place where Frank grew up, I guess.
Oh, wow. What I find interesting is I spent so much time listening to this record when I was young, and it was a good way to end the first side of the record before I flip over. There's no other instruments. It's only Frank and his vocals.
Yeah, and he does sing it a little bit differently than the way that I came to know the song. But I like this version a lot.
He sings it with vibrato.
Which is an interesting thing for like a punk kid, you know? Like usually it's very straightforward, and a lot of Frank's music he kind of sings it straight all the time. But he really kind of chews on this one, and I think that works very well for like a traditional kind of song.
Yeah, and I think it's a good change of pace from what we're used to. I'm surprised it was a traditional song, and up until you told me about that, I had no idea. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's just him singing this song.
So that...
Anything else to... Whoop.
Nope. So I'm good on English Curse. So then we get over to side B, One Foot Before the Other.
Yes, which is definitively a more upbeat song. It's
much more punk rock.
Yes. It kind of goes back to his hardcore days of Million Dead.
And I think there's a little bit of a reference to that in the second verse when he speaks about the 7 million innocents.
There's like references to like William Shakespeare in this song too. Well, which is quite interesting.
The name of the album, England Keep My Bones, is a Shakespeare reference as well. So again, the whole thing is just very, very much English.
Yes. Which, I mean, he does something like this later on where he writes an album basically where he writes the album No Man's Land, basically dedicated and written about all the women throughout history.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting as well. Frank Turner always tries to go out of the box when it comes to like writing music.
Exactly.
And this song is no different.
And more, he also goes in, there's a lot of call-outs in this album to various celebrities, mythological people, things like that. Wat Tyler, Woody Guthrie, Dostoevsky, I believe is how you pronounce that, and Davy Jones, which could be, Davy Jones of the Locker fame or Davy Jones of the Monkees fame.
Interesting.
You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of the better songs on the album. I like the energy that they bring here, and it's a cool kind of juxtaposition after English Curse.
Yeah, it kind of still goes towards that English like narrative of like, I'm proud to be where I'm from. I love England, and it's not one of my favorite songs on this record.
Yeah.
But I have no problem. It belongs on this record.
Yeah,
like
it fits right
this
in.
album there's no fillers on this.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that anything on here is filler. A lot of it just comes down to personal taste for me. And
Yeah.
this one I like the energy that they're bringing. I'm all right with it. And that leads
Hell
us
yeah.
that leads us to If I Ever Stray.
Which I think is one of the better songs on this record. I think it's great.
I love the first line, "Forgive me, someone, for I have sinned." That's a great that's a funny play on that. And then
And I know I know not where I should begin, and some days it feels like you should win no matter what you do or say.
life is short, but it feels much longer. Yeah. There's a lot of this one is shorter lyrically than I think what was the one that we were just talking about that?
1 foot before the other.
Yeah, it's this one comes across as a little bit shorter, but I love the wordplay all over this, especially that intro
Yeah.
part. That's just great. And yeah, it's thematically very similar to some of the other ones that are on here, but this is where what we were talking about earlier with like kind of the Irish kind of thing. He has said that he had designed this song to be kind of like a pub song, which immediately makes you think like, oh yeah, Irish drinking songs.
Yeah, or just English drinking songs to begin with.
That entire area of the world that's such an interesting part of that culture.
Yeah, the pub is very important.
Yep. There's a reason why there's so many Irish pubs here in the States.
Yeah, but they're never as good as the ones that are in like England, for example.
I can't imagine that they are. And someday I will find out firsthand.
I mean, there are definitely some in Boston that have been around for years.
Forever and ever.
Forever.
But yeah, there's more references to the English Channel all over this one. It's thematically very consistent. Good song. I like it.
Yes. Yeah. The next one, Willix Boy, that's one of my favorite songs on this record.
And it's very pop punk. We're writing about our hometown.
But it's not corny, though. Like, there are some pop punk songs that, like, talk about their hometown, and it's just like, okay, we get it. But I love the beginning where he's kind of, it's joke around, and it's like the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's very fun to me. I love songs that start like that it just seems very natural.
Yeah.
Seems like I'm watching them in a bar,
just
hanging out.
in.
Yeah. The chorus goes, there's something about coming back to your hometown again, the place where you grew up, and where you found your firmest friends. And though none of them still live there, I've got nowhere else to go. I'm a Wessex boy, and when I'm here, I'm home. Like, there's no difference between this and like a Dropkick Murphys song talking about Boston, for example.
Exactly.
It's the same sort of thing. And like, there's plenty of songs that talk about Boston, for example, like take Dirty Water, for example.
Yeah.
Same sort of vein.
The hometown pride.
Yeah, and I imagine this is like a very fun song to see in his hometown.
I mean, there's an idea for something to take a trip for. I would love to see him play in Wessex, because everybody knows that the hometown shows are the way to go. Those are always super fun.
Oh yeah, they always are. Especially, I mean, like, I've seen Dropkick Murphys hometown shows.
Yep.
Those are insane.
Nobody ever likes Dropkick Murphys as much as people in Boston on St. Paddy's Day. You are never going to go to a show that is like where more people are happy to be there than the House of Blues on St. Patrick's Day on Lansdowne Street.
Which is funny because the only time I've seen Frank Turner was on like St. Patrick's Day opening up for the Dropkick Murphys.
That's what an insane show that had to have been.
That was insane. And what I always remember about Frank Turner, I went upstairs to like go like grab food or like use the bathroom or whatever, and the man was like selling and pushing his own merch.
Yeah, I mean
this was like 10 years ago.
But even then he was still pretty big, and yeah, that's something that never gets old for me in live music. Like when the artist walks off stage and then they go and they actually like hang out at the merch table and sell their wares. That I like that.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that.
Like, yeah, I met him. He's cool. He's really tall.
I didn't know that.
He's a tall guy, dude.
Yeah, and then we get a little bit of a bummer track coming up here with Nights Become Days.
Yeah, that one's sad.
Yeah, definitely lower energy. and talking about his friend Milo, who had some addiction issues.
Yeah, which is tough. Like
Yeah.
that's rough.
Absolutely, but it's kind of a it's a little bit. I don't know if you'd call it a love letter, but it's definitely like it comes across as somebody who's just like very concerned about their friend and is trying to offer support.
Yeah, and I mean, in the second verse with "We started out curious, it started out fun. We smoked in the woods when we were young." Just something innocent like that you just do.
Yeah.
You didn't realize like it could lead to something potentially harmful in the future.
Yep.
That's pretty real. That's I mean, addiction is a real thing, and you don't really realize it until it becomes a habit.
Yeah, and you get the references to rivers again, this time in a much more depressing way with you'd sink in the river for your death, you'd sleep with the fishes and draw no breath. And then in the next part, it's if you made for the shore, you'd see us here, we're all waiting. That's a great way to put that. I am you guys are listening to me actually like this album even more than when I was listening to it now that I'm looking at these lyrics. This is funny.
That's hilarious. Because I was already definitively like, this is my favorite Frank Turner record, but it's also to understand why this is my favorite Frank Turner album. It's based on nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to look at an album objectively when I grew up sitting in my basement playing video games and I would listen to this record on repeat while I'm playing like Madden or like 2K.
Yeah, some of this triggers, memories of hearing you play it in college, but I don't have quite that much of an attachment to it as you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that leads us to Redemption, which is, we've called out Springsteen and the storytelling kind of thing that goes on this album. And who does Mr. Turner name drop?
Springsteen.
Exactly. It's this is very much kind of like a growing up anthem, I guess.
I feel like it's a growing up anthem, but also kind of like a breakup song at the same time.
A little bit, yeah, kind of talking about like regretting what you did wow, I'm having a real tough time with the English language today. Regretting past mistakes and trying to kind of analyze it and move past it and figure out a way to fix it, kind of.
Yeah, it's an upbeat song. It's kind of a different take than what we heard like with the last one. Oop.
And I just lost power.
We left off at Redemption.
Oh yeah, so I like the theme of Redemption. It's definitely, like you said, I can definitely see how you think it's a breakup song. It comes across a little bit more like existential to me, I guess. Asking about whether or not love is real, in general. But yeah, overall I like the song. It's one of those it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this strikes me as a Frank Turner song.
I think it's interesting in I've tried so hard not to turn into my father, but if only I could skip out on his choices, will I ever choose better? And then there are a couple of references of like him leaving someone in like a restaurant, like kind of standing them up. And my dad would do that. Why am I doing that? I shouldn't. It's kind of in the same vein. It's in the vein of like, I don't deserve you. You deserve way better than me and whatever I do. With the last line being like, so darling, I miss you, your music, your musk and your kisses. I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, it's that one hurts. That one hurts. You're cutting deep, Frank.
Yeah, like damn, I don't deserve anything.
And the last song here is Glory Hallelujah. Which,
I mean, with the first, it starts off with the organ, kind of like you're at church. It kind of goes back to the very first song, Eulogy, where there's almost like a church kind of theme,
and it's where where Eulogy had that kind of funeral march kind of intro. This one ends with the same tune kind of being played on piano. So I like that full circle kind of thing, that idea of like a cyclical album thematically and sonically.
Yeah, and starting with the first line being like, "Brothers and sisters, have you heard the news?" If you ever go to church, the first thing when they repeat a lot of Bible verses, it's brothers and sisters, like the Book of David says, like whatever.
And I like the idea of swap your confirmation for your dancing shoes. That's a cool little line right there. Yeah.
I thought this song was so cool. Like when I was like an edgy 16-year-old, I'm like, there's no God.
But it doesn't seem to be so like cutting like that. It's definitely more of just a almost a conversation, kind of, maybe a little bit of a debate there, and kind of a taking it back for yourself instead of looking for, a savior or some sort of external thing.
Right, and it's kind of like, hey, you don't have to blame your failures on just imaginary bees, which is like an actual line. No blaming of all our failures on imaginary bees, because there was never no God.
It's definitely it's a commentary. That's the word that I was looking for. But I can definitely see how edgy 16-year-old Dan would sit back and be like, yeah, there is no God.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, it's like more just like, hey, maybe you shouldn't just, because the whole thing about Catholicism is you should always feel bad for sinning. You're constantly sinning, like Jesus died for your sins, and you have to be the best person that you can be, but you're just constantly sinning, and you need to go to confession, and say why you're a bad person.
Man, that's just continuing to read through the lyrics. It is, what a great way to end an album.
And I mean, even like the bonus tracks on this record, I think they hold up as well. Song for Eva May, that's really good as well. I don't know if you got into that one. Wanderlust also.
Sailor's Boots, and then there's some acoustic versions of some of the songs as well. Yeah, I didn't go through all that. Yeah. I just went with the standard album. But yeah, he definitely knocks it out of the park on the closer there.
Yeah, he does. To add one more thing, not to Glory Hallelujah, but like to Wanderlust, one of my favorite lines from that song is, "Baby, let's get out of the city. We need to breathe some cleaner air." I don't know. That line has always just stuck with me.
I think anybody that's lived in a city or been in a city for any kind of extended period of time knows that feeling. Like every once in a while, you just have to sit back and be like, I need a break.
Right. All right. So that is England Keep
Overall,
My Bones.
Much better album than I expected. Because like I said, Frank Turner has always been about, the singles and the individual songs for me, and going through and actually listening to that front to back, and especially sitting here and really going through the lyrics, I'm impressed. I'm gonna keep giving him shots. He deserves them.
This album, let me take off the nostalgic glasses for a second. I will say that this one still holds up. This one is still a good album, regardless. I think it holds up even more now. And actually, the inspiration for us picking this album was we looked at a list earlier this year from Chorus.fm about and what is it? Who runs Chorus.fm?
Jason Tate, who used to own Absolute Punk as well.
So Jason Tate put out a thinking about 2011 retrospective, and he mentions this album, and I was like, that's really interesting. I haven't heard this album in a while, and how this album still holds up, and it's especially now knowing the full context of who Frank Turner is in 2021. This is a great record.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. So that's England Keep My Bones, something that I'm gonna have to revisit a couple more times, I think, at the very least.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any recommendations this week?
Oh man. I can't really think of one right now. What about you?
I'm kind of struggling as well. I think so many of the recommendations that I would have used over multiple weeks, we just ended up using all last week. So
That is true. Go back and listen to those recommendations. We have quite a bit that you can check out and listen to. And we go really in depth on those ones. So check those ones
go
out.
check it out and give us another week to figure out if we like anything.
We hate everything.
Crazy. All right. Well, I think that has been this week's edition of the Pack You Run podcast.
Like us on your podcast listener. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Pack You Run Pod. We're gonna post more on that and tell more of our opinions and stuff like that. We haven't really been posting a lot.
We're getting back into it. We're figuring out the flow of everything. So now that the world is a little bit more open and we're not all stuck inside all the time, it's we're back on a little bit of a learning curve, but we won't leave you guys hanging.
Right. We're gonna keep this up.
Well, Dan, it's been lovely talking to you. I'm now going to run away from my powerless house and go eat some ramen with some friends. We will catch you guys on the flippity flip. Bye-bye.
See you soon.